Hi, this is Tia Kelly, and you're here with Women Changing the World. Today I have with me my teacher and mentor, whom I absolutely adore, and is going to bring great value to you in your life when you hear about what she does in the world and maybe find out what you could do. Her name is Marilyn Atkinson. Marilyn, hello. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Tia. Good to talk with you.
Wonderful. So for those of you joining in on podcast, it won't matter, but Marilyn and I are on Google Hangout today, and her visual isn't showing up, but that's okay because we can hear you loud and clear. So Marilyn, I'd just like to read your bio to everybody so they get to know you a little bit more. Marilyn Atkinson is PhD and founder of Erickson Coaching International and originator of the solution-focused and outcome-oriented coaching model, actively contributing to the emergence of the expansion of solution-focused psychology, NLP, and the development of meta-program analysis for effective hiring and managerial approaches worldwide. As an industrial psychologist, she honed solution-focused coaching methods for multiple kinds of corporate engagements, making tools effective and easy for managers to use. She was dedicated student of Milton Erickson for years and gave his name to Erickson Coaching International. She also had the privilege to work directly with Fritz Perls, creator of the Gestalt psychology. For the past 10 years, she has been developing both corporate and specialized coach training programs, ICF, ACTP, the art and science of coaching, that have been taught in 33 countries. A former registered organizational psychologist, Marilyn is an NLP master, trainer, and specialist in Erickson communications. She began developing formal business coach training programs in the mid-1990s. Since then, she has been helping leading global companies and leaders through solution-focused and outcome-oriented coaching methodologies. Marilyn, welcome.
Thank you.
So that is an amazing bio, and I know you've been doing this coaching thing for years. From the beginning, you were one of the pioneers in coaching, so we have a lot to thank you for in that. And I know that outside of doing all that wonderful stuff through Erickson and training tons of people, you're also connected to something that's your big vision, a real heart thing for you. It's called the World Game. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Oh, I'd love to, Tia. The World Game is a community of coaches mainly, but also social entrepreneurs and other groups who are really attempting to find simple ways to assist people to find their leadership vision around contributing to the planet and also to each other. Coaching is a method of really contributing abilities to other people. And what we're doing with the World Game is a series of conventions and conferences that are happening around the world. We've just had one a couple of years ago in London and then Istanbul. We're having a huge one in Bali in 2016 and a lot of mini conferences in all sorts of countries from Istanbul to Jakarta to, where are we going? Moscow, Poland, Brazil. We just had one in Vancouver. World Game conferences are happening in China. And the aim there is to just have some simple ways for people to come together as a community and really, just like with the World Cup in soccer, look at the game of human development, who we are, where we're going, how we can assist our children to get there, better ways of education, but usually using the simple methods, simplest ways for self-development.
And so who goes to these conferences? Who's invited? Who can attend? What happens at them?
Well, a lot of people are converging on them now. Mostly coaches, and you can find out about it by a book that I've just written called Do You Want to Play the World Game, which describes some of the conferences and some of the free coaching events we're offering as well in various countries, but also some of the other ways in which you can start a World Game if you want a muscle building program, even with simple what we call legacy games or blessing games where you and your kids may run for a charity, but the aim is to build some muscle to get communities looking at what they want to do to enhance and grow. It's an inside-out approach, not going from government to people, but from people to real assistance through the generations and using solution-focused coaching to do it.
So it's kind of like changing the whole system by starting with ourselves, our communities, our families, our kids, and having it ripple out from there.
Right. It's about developing our consciousness of ourself as part of something bigger, and really working with other people in a big worldwide community to do that.
Do you feel like the world is kind of at this point? I don't know if it's a tipping point, but I feel like there's something that's going to happen. Like we're all just breaking forward, and women especially. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Okay. Well, in fact, the book I've just written called Do You Want to Play the World Game? And it's available on Google, by the way.
Cool.
It's about the tipping point. It takes about 10% of a group, or even all over the world, 10% of the people in every community to turn the corner on a major innovation like, using the internet. And suddenly everyone's using it. But with real leadership vision, like the shift towards much more participation in our communities, that takes only 3%. And we start to shift our consciousness, our level of capacity to really assist and coach others. And that 3% is what we're aiming for to change the whole planet. And yes, we are almost there. There's so many groups and people who want to make a difference to the effectiveness of everything from education to women's capacity to move the lives of their communities and their families.
That's amazing. So you're saying that all these women tuned in for Women Changing the World, they could be part of that 3%, and then that would have the ripple effect that would really change the world in effect. So if we can come together in consciousness and conscious agreement around things and contribute to community, then we can really actually be the catalyst for world change.
Yeah, and it's not so much agreement. We don't have to agree on everything, but we need to know consciously that is our aim, that our aim is the world game. That we see, once we know what we're about, everything shifts. If we take on a purpose, that even as we coach, and I'm speaking as a coach to coaches, as we coach one individual, that person's shifts and growth and development and their vision starts to move their communities and their events further. Then we notice how powerfully we can shift everything. And when that happens, that consciousness that we're playing the world game becomes like an embracing envelope in which everybody kind of gets it. They get infected, they get engaged, they get interested, and the world game continues out like a tide. It's like a tide coming in.
I feel it. I think it is. I think the tide's coming in. So where can we get this book? You were saying that you can get it on Google. Can you get it on Amazon or on the Erickson website?
And you can get it from Erickson. You can get it. It's now being published through Exelon Publishing. So you can get it on Google. You can get it at www.erickson.edu. Just ask for your copy. I think right now they're $20 and they're available.
Excellent. And then people can just get started and understand the world game a little bit more and what their part is in that, or could be. Excellent.
That's correct. And what's more, they can join. There's lots of communities, and there's pretty big conferences happening worldwide. Plus, in Canada and the USA, I believe we're having another one in 6 months. We've just had one a week ago here in Vancouver.
Awesome. And I had the joy of learning some of those tools when I was your student, and I've been able to help people all over the world be able to do that. And it's an amazing, amazing gift. So we're often told that there's no such thing as failure because we're constantly learning. And I, agree with that. And it took me a long time to learn that. And going to coaching school helped me with so much of my own stuff, my own inner dialogues. Going through that training, I would do it over and over again just for myself, even if I never used it to help anybody else ever again. The value that it gave me just personally as a human being was, I would go to coaching school every day if I could. But so we're talking there's no such thing as failure. How do coaches approach this subject with clients for the first time?
Well, we don't always, the client brings up their questions and their aims. So we don't approach this topic, they do. Almost always as they step forward with some project where they say, oops, this one's dangerous. I'm going to make a fool of myself, or other people will criticize me, or I'm going to, invest money and I might lose it. The fear of failure is a big thing in people's lives.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever bought a house, but so many people, when they approach negotiating something big and important, go, oh no, I don't know how. They hit this button called inadequacy and they press it hard. So fear of failure is a simple stepping back from what we want, where we dissociate, stop ourselves in some way, retreat, and pause. So as coaches, we assist people to once again get clear on the vision, really get clear on the vision. What would happen if we accomplish this goal? And then notice what the value is not only to ourselves, but to others. How many people will get the results of our effective response here? Usually it's much more than ourselves. It might include our family, our friends, our colleagues. In a work environment, it includes the team, the organization, the customers. So really seeing who is involved allows us to widen our courage and widen our scope. And as we do that, something happens. We step into something I call inner certitude. We move past those old qualms, those feelings in the body. We move into the place where we know what we want, and we know that we're the one to accomplish it. We know how to accomplish it, and we step forward. So a coach assists on many levels to move past fear of failure. Part of what we need to do, of course, is to really see the whole game. What are we going to do and how are we going to do it? So that means we actually begin with the end in mind. We visualize that result and the steps to get there both. That means we look at the big picture and then the detailed picture. What step first? What step second? This is what we call first steps. We really want to see the first steps plus the big picture of where we're going.
Amazing. So sometimes it seems like people go round and around trying to break out of a negative cycle or negative inner dialogue, and just to be able to find their true purpose. But all that stuff inside is stopping them from doing that. Is there a coaching approach or a tool that can explain how to help somebody get out of that and be able to go forward and live their purpose and help others?
Wow. You're asking wonderful questions, Tia. Big ones.
I know you have the answers.
Well, in coaching, we're always training a wonderful skill set we call coach position. And coach position is really simple. We want to, at any given point, be able to view not only what we want to accomplish, but see ourselves and our goal in a context, a larger context called the framework of getting this done. And we step out of the whole thing and actually see ourselves and how we're doing it and what we're doing and why we're doing it and all these things as a series of, you might call them inner movies. This is coach position. It's kind of like if we were playing a ball game, if you're down on the field, say in a football game, passing the ball, you're not in coach position. You're deeply associated with your movement and what you're doing and the whole experience of eyeballing where that ball's got to go. But suppose you're up in the stands. Now you can see the person throwing the ball. That's you. You can see the aim where it's going. You see the person's catching. And you can even see all the rest of the movement on the field. Coach position allows you a much bigger view. And therefore, you move past a lot of those gremlins. The gremlins are there when you're passing the ball. You know, it's like, oh, do I dare? But when you're up in coach position, it's like being on the moon or someplace, watching your life go by. Then you can really take a look and say, you know, how's that person doing? Are they on purpose? Are they genuinely doing what they want to in life? Are they accomplishing what they say they're up to? And from here, we begin to relax about ourselves. See, the difficulty with being associated on the field and passing the ball is that's where the gremlins tend to attack. And by a gremlin, I just mean an old fear. A small
or inner
fear
dialogue or
that
anything like that.
That's right, exactly. And inner dialogue is often negative. It says, wait, I don't know if you can do this. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we say something negative, our vision tends to disappear. We can't keep a vision when that inner dialogue is rolling in like the tide. We need to step out into a place where we can quietly look at what our aim is and who we are accomplishing that. And also how what we're doing benefits others. And see that we can really appreciate that person who's going about their life the best way they can. And they deserve no blame. They deserve no guilt or any of these other negative emotions that come. In fact, what they're doing is the very best they can, and they are accomplishing it with skill.
So this coach position, what you're saying is we can take coach position on our own lives at times by stepping back and sort of giving that space and looking at our own selves from up in the stands versus down on the court.
Yeah.
But we could, if I were to train to be a coach, then I would also learn to view other people's lives and systems from that place as well. Is that right? Like if someone wanted to learn to be a coach, would they become masterful at getting the bigger picture on their clients and helping them?
Absolutely. And we assist them. We assist the manager or the leader as he looks at the whole company and sees himself with his position and what he wants to accomplish. But we can also take it 5 years out, and we can assist the person to look at all the changes that can develop from one position going forward. We can take it to a culture. You as a coach, Tia, and other coaches can look at how to coach a culture, because you can see all the ways in which cultural changes affect people, and you can take coach position in a very big picture way. Organization is one place, culture is another. We can work with all different sizes of communities.
Right down to the individual, which is, well, I do group, but I do a lot of personal one-on-one coaching as well with people. And of course, then that ripples out because their lives are expanding and changing and growing and improving. And I think that's what I love most about being a coach is the ripple effect of what that does when you I don't know, hold that container for somebody to just grow and blossom. I love that.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, but I guess that happens within companies and cultures too.
Yeah. So coaching is phenomenal. We as coaches have so much opportunity to really do that ripple effect, both with individuals and their families, with people in organizations and leaders in organizations, and the way they're affecting both all the levels of their company going down to the front lines, plus the customers going out to the community. The ripple effect is enormous for coaches, and we can really view that from coach position and then live from it.
Yeah. And so my own personal story, I wanted to be a coach for years and years, but I had a full-time job and had that house that you were talking about. And, you know, so many things stopped me, mostly my own inner dialogue and fear and all those things. And finally I found the courage to do it, and I found Erickson and went, and it wasn't anything that I expected. I don't know what I was expecting it to be, but that first week, that first intensive module, I was just like, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into here? But I fell in love with it deeply, and it's kind of like, and I see it with other coaches who train too, and it's like you know how someone's born again Christian, or they find this religion or something, they can't contain it, they want to share it with everyone, and they're just like so mind blown by how amazing it is, and they don't understand why everybody doesn't have a coach, and you know how it's changed their own lives so much, they just want to share it and share it. So it's one of those like amazing contagious things that if you step into it, you're just going to be like, you're going to be shocked that it's something that you've been missing out on all this time. So that was my own personal experience with finding what it was, not only to be coached, but to be a coach and find that career for myself. And I take it around the world to Africa and India and teach girls who are struggling in different areas of their life, but mostly culturally, because they're in cultures where they're just not supported to live their best. And so we help them find all the inner tools to help them. And you've trained all over the world in diverse mixed cultures. What's something that has grown from this experience, and how can coaches help more in a global community, in your opinion?
Oh, well, thank you very much for that question, Tia. In fact, people have much more power than they think they do, and much more influence than they think they do. And because we're all connected through the media, through Facebook, through various wonderful platforms, even just the incredible interconnectivity we're using right now here on Google.
That's right.
All of that allows us to influence daily the people who really are asking for help, asking for methodologies. When we begin to notice where and how we want to make a difference, if you have the tools available and coaching offers them, it makes such a powerful impact on the people that you're able to influence. They're able to hear you because you communicate well. Mm-hmm. They're able to receive the tools you give because you can explain them and show them and deliver them, and you can assist them to vision the results they want to get for themselves. I also work a lot with women, and women who are moving out of quite primitive environmental conditions, actually. Mm-hmm. Erickson is in quite a few countries where, that industrial impact is brand new. And so women are still feeling the effects of very coercive family systems mm-hmm. where they haven't had much ability to speak out, where their mothers were stoics, where they sat at home all the time, considering themselves to be limited and only able to do certain fairly limited things.
Right.
Now, coaching is shifting all that quickly. As we move into cultures we're giving women the tools, first, to really communicate well with the communities they're part of. And that includes other women, growing children, educational systems, but also entrepreneurial businesses, starting their own businesses, impacting their own customer groups, and growing fast with their own leadership skills. We're assisting them to move past what I called earlier the gremlin systems, those small fears, fear of visioning, dreaming, genuinely seeing the impact you can have, fear of failure, the ways in which people get stuck and stopped by just the old messages from the former generations, fear of upsetting people. That's a very interesting one. When we think of our former families, we often worry about stepping out and showing independence from those old systems. But when we think of our children and what we want to leave for them, the legacy we want to give them, women really move ahead. They begin to say yes, yes to future generations, yes to what they can bring truly to all these combined communities that they affect. So we assist them to move out of those old conflicts and begin their journey as both independent entrepreneurs, but as real leaders in valuable coaching modalities. We're training coaches, by the way, in many, many communities. And that's the difference that Erickson is bringing.
Yeah, and then the ripple effect from that, like bringing a whole coaching culture and training coaches in Russia and China and Turkey and all the places, 33 countries around the world. I just think that's so amazing. Like because each of those coaches is now going to be a more enlightened individual with way more self-awareness just from going through the training themselves. So even if it just changed that one person and that kind of slightly rippled out to their own family and their own community, small community, that would be huge. But they're going to take that out and work with people and change their self-awareness and listen deeply and teach people to communicate better. And when we were in India, we ran across a little problem. We have to have all the mothers agree when we train the daughters through the coaching program. And we got there early one morning to start the program, and the mothers were all going to sign the release forms for the girls to be in the coaching program. And they said, oh, we have a problem. Some of the mothers don't want to sign. And we were like, oh my gosh, we've come thousands of miles, to do this training and shoot this documentary film. And now the moms aren't on board. Like, what are we going to do? So everyone sat down in a circle, and they had their arms crossed, and you could just tell that there was resistance to this. We had met with the girls briefly the day before and kind of explained what we were about and what we were going to do, and they had gone home and maybe asked questions. Maybe we'd opened, even in that little meeting, we'd opened up something in their mind, so they started asking their moms questions that the moms did not want to answer, didn't have the answers to. And so one of them, there was a lot of dialogue, a lot of group dialogue about who we were and what we were going to do. But then one of the moms said, when I was young, I didn't know anything about my body. I didn't know anything until I had my first child. And I said, so if you had been given more tools and more knowledge and more self-awareness come that time when you had your child, would that have been a positive or a negative for you? And her face lit up, and she was like, oh my gosh, it would have been so amazing. And she's kind of launched into how it would have been different if she had had that information. And so nobody said anything, but it dawned on the whole room what had just happened. She just said, if I had had what you're going to give my daughters, it would have changed my whole life. And so then everyone laughed, and it would kind of turn into all this giggling when they kind of realized how their mindset was affecting the next generation and how they could just change it right in that moment by saying yes. So of course they all signed and asked the other facilitators to pay close attention so that they could teach them all the things that their daughters were learning. So coaching, it just breaks things wide open for so many people and so many communities. And so I just love it. But thank you so much. What else? So if I want to be a coach, Marilyn, tell me what I do next. Because I know there's a lot of women out there who want to help. They don't know how they want to help, and this might be one of those ways. So what could they go do?
Okay, well, that's a wonderful question, Tia. One thing for sure is to, first of all, explore a little. There's a lot of websites about coaching, but particularly go to www.erickson.edu, ERICKSON.edu. And on the website, you're going to find quite a few videos and frameworks about what is coaching. It'll help you to get a wider picture of how coaching operates. And you can talk to an affiliate. You can click on the button to just simply talk and get your questions answered about what is coaching, how it works, what it means to practice coaching, because coaching is a practice. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to read about something. You can go, I could have told you to go read some books. We've got a lot of books on coaching.
You do have a lot of books, and let me show them really quickly. So just so everybody knows, like Marilyn has also co-authored with Ray Choice, another fantastic, amazing coach, these brilliant books, which could be a good start. So the inner dynamics of coaching, and step-by-step coaching, which is another great one, and then the latest Flow, the core of coaching. So I recommend people check those out too. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going. Okay, so go to the website, and don't worry, people, if you haven't grabbed any of this information, I'm going to put it on Marilyn's speaker page so that all the links will be there, so don't go scrambling for pens and freaking out. It's totally going to be available to you to click on it. So yes, go to Erickson's website, and check out all the resources.
Speak to an advisor, because there's a lot of specifics that you can ask someone who's graduated from the program. Suppose you have a specific application in mind. Maybe you think, wow, this would be wonderful to get out to, say, the medical profession. And you think, I know a lot of people in this profession. I'm a nurse. I'd like to really maybe become a coach that works in this area. Mm-hmm. And you can talk to somebody who knows a lot about it. Same with education, or same with working with moms and children, or any specific area. You can work with different areas of business. And the enrollment advisors talk to you about, first of all, how valuable these approaches might be to building your career. They talk about, they'll answer your questions about what and how you might proceed, how long it takes, different ways to learn coaching. Because coaching is a process. There's a lot of practices you do along the way to simply move into the coaching like. It's a mindset.
Yes, it is. And can you talk a little bit about ICF? Because I think a lot of people get very confused because there's so many coaching schools out there. You can go online and learn to be a coach in 6 days. You know, there's so much, and it can be very confusing. And I remember that from before I found Erickson, when I was looking, and I was so lucky to have found Erickson. It just happened. It was meant to be. So, but can you speak a little bit about the importance of your certification and your training program specifically compared to others?
Oh, great, Tia. ICF certification means a lot. Right now, I'm training all over the world. Coaches in so many countries are asking this question. And what you're looking at is a system of ethics and agreements on process and practice, which creates coaching. Erickson is one of the first ICF certified programs, the Art and Science of Coaching, our main program, is one of the first ICF certified coaching programs. We were certified back in 2003. And so we've watched so many coaching programs start, like you mentioned, in every area. There's always many people who say, I'm a coach, I can teach you. But what they don't understand is how coaching truly differs from the fields of consulting and counseling and advising, and they come in thinking that one little tool in coaching is coaching. What we're working with as coaches is an amazing compendium of wonderful methodologies that have to do with mind advancement, that have to do with your own inner integration, your values and your vision, and how you yourself develop yourself allows you to become a great coach. So an ICF certified program is a promise that you will truly develop yourself to become the kind of coach that people need. And so it's not a 6-day program. It's more like a 16-day program plus practice for quite a while, plus integration and ways to work with the ICF certification that you can, as you go along, trust. You find how it supports you. You always know your own steps of growth. So as you're working through these steps, you'll be saying yes to yourself, and you'll be discovering the widening of your own personal efficacy and abilities, and also the expansion of your own professionalism.
Amazing. So if anybody out there is interested in possibly becoming a coach or just finding out more about it, I know that you guys also have a free gift, and it's quite a long link, so I'm not going to say it here because then people will be scrambling for it. But on the speaker page, everyone, I'm going to leave this link. It's a special free gift that Marilyn has put together for this audience, and it's a 4-part video series that'll give you actual coaching tools, so you'll get to like see how it all works and see, you know, it's really cool. So that'll be something that you can go check out, and I'll leave the link to it. Don't worry, on the speaker page. So only the people that will be coming to this Women Changing the World speaker series and listening to this talk will be able to have access to it. And so that's really exciting and cool. And thank you for offering that, Marilyn.
Oh, you're welcome, Tia.
That's great. Okay, do you want to leave us with any amazing parting words for all the women out there who are interested in wanting to change their own lives and change the world?
First of all, catch your courage. Find a place where you say yes to yourself, where you say, my life is important, that if I find my own focus, my vision, my own purpose, and start to do that, all the old places where I have emotional concerns will fall away. Second, as you begin, really notice your own thoughts. What are your green light thoughts that say, go forth, go ahead, just like green light at the stop sign, and just disengage from your red light thoughts, the stuff where you say, oh yeah, maybe I can, maybe I can't, and just take a step a day. Coaching requires a mindset change. As you start to work with a coach, you learn that mindset change. As you start to learn coaching, you accelerate that mindset change. You begin to love your life. We love our life when we're really moving ahead in a way where we're celebrating our own development, the development of people around us, and the joy of being in service. So thank you very much, Tia.
Thank you. And that's so perfectly true. That you just talked about me. You just described to me my life, like considering like before I started Erickson and now, I absolutely love my life. I love every day of it, and it's amazing. And it all got started in your classroom. I'm going to have to say it's true.
Okay.
Yeah, so everything you just said is so true. Thank you so much, Marilyn.
Thank you, Tia.
Bye. Bless you.